Struggles have you encountered before becoming successful?
Struggles before becoming successful. Well, I wouldn't say there was struggles, man. To be honest, like music to me, I grew up making music. Like I was in high school, right? I was in bands, um, and like I was self-taught. Like I played the guitar, and then I joined my high school friends band, and we were together. And then I learned how to play keyboard and stuff like that. So for the most part, I've always been making music like my entire well, most of my life, right? 39 now, so since my like well, since I was 18. But music to me was always something fun. It was like therapy almost, growing up in a household where my mom played music all the time. It's something that I always listened to, and I always wanted to do, and I knew I wanted to do something with music. I never thought that it would be like, or I could make a living off of it, or it being a reality, you know what I mean? So I really, once I broke up with the band, I still had a 9 to 5. My whole life had a 9 to 5, right? And I was still making music on the side, but I didn't think anything would be of it. Like to me, it was just me making music, posting it online, and it being something cool. There was an open window when SoundCloud first got big. When it first started, not big, sorry, when SoundCloud first started, and I was able to join, and that's where I was uploading all my music. Like I would finish a song, upload it, finish the song, upload it. And that's how I got into everyone's like ears, or got like, that's how I became friends with like Bro Safari, with Diplo, with AC Slater, because we were on the platform early, and we would be able to write each other. So, and that's how I made all these connections. And then I would go out and meet them. But I was always like a realist, you know what I mean? Like I never thought I would be a DJ, or so for me, I learned how to DJ because there was a demand for me to go out and play. You know what I mean? Or else I still would have been working. And then I ended up getting fired because I started missing a lot of work. So it ended up working out for me. But struggles beforehand, no. Struggles now, yeah, maybe. Trying to stay relevant, trying to stay at the top of the game. Not top of the game, but like giving out your best. Now there's so much music that it's a struggle to try to keep people interested in what you're doing. You know what I mean? With content. Before it was just music. You know what I mean? Now you got to provide content. Videos. You got to do either podcast or more than shows. More than music. So it's a struggle, and it's a hard balance. But every day, man. I mean, even through the pandemic, it was hard to like, I'm a social guy, and I like going out, meeting people, but like I never get on Instagram live like Valentino does, you know what I mean? I'm just weird like that. So like everyone was streaming and doing all this stuff. I really wasn't doing stuff like that, but I should have, I guess. But it's just, yeah, man, I that's my struggle. I just can't, I just like making music, and that's all I want to do.
Right on, man. Right on. Well,
Yeah.
we appreciate your music. I was helping your brother on a couple of other projects he had.
Wyvern?
Yeah, yeah. I didn't
IRG.
know he was your brother. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, I told him it's not really my genre, but I like it. He's like, what do you listen to? I'm like, well, I'm more into electronic music. And then he mentioned you. I'm like, oh damn. Yeah, he's pretty sick, man. I gotta check him out. It's always cool. It's funny how things plan out now. But do you have any other artists that might have inspired you that maybe you're like, man, I never saw myself like playing with this person or working with this person, things like
Yeah,
that?
man. So a lot of my big inspirations are like my peers now, right? Like when I first started making music, um, when I first started making electronic music, for say, it was like when the blog house stuff was out. You know what I mean? When it was like remixes of a Modest Mouse song or whatever it was, and it was like kind of Frenchy electro. So
Yeah.
then like I started getting into like Mastercraft and Justice. You know what I mean? And then there was a big like, but see these guys, because I was like, I love what they did, and like it was inspiring. I was like, damn, these fools are making music off their computer and they're playing there. That's cool. Like maybe one day. And I would go to like this Cinespace where Aoki would play, DJ AM, like A-Track. All these dudes would start, like it was like early in the scene, and I would go watch them. And now it's like they're my peers, man. It's crazy. Like, now I could work with a song with A-Track. Like I know the guys from Mastercraft. Like we've made songs together. I've released on their label. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So it's like kind of surreal you know, but it's also very dope to me that that they respect the music I make, and they play the stuff, and you know what I mean, they play my music. I think it's still, even now, like when A-Track plays my music, or Craze, or any of those homies, you know what I mean, like when they play it, I'm still like in awe, you know what I mean, because it's kind of surreal that you made something that made like someone that you looked up to like be like, yeah, it's dope. So I've gotten to work with, like, you know, with Diplo, AC Slater, numerous things, Major Lazer, with Mastercraft, A-Track. We talk, we text and stuff. But yeah, man, just
Peace, DJ AM. But yeah, I
yeah, man.
watched a lot of his work too, man. It's
Yeah.
pretty
Oh,
cool.
and then with Aoki too, I've worked with him. You know what I mean? And like he knows me. I think like we played shows together. He's brought me on like some of his shows on his tour, and he always makes a joke. He's like, "Hey man, people say we look like each other." I'm like, "Nah, man, stop."
You should grow out your hair for kicks,
I
bro.
know I did. There's a few pictures where my hair was long, and like I had my beard was a little long, and I
Yeah,
kind of do look like him. I look like a mix of like De Oro and like Aoki. If Aoki and De Oro had a child, it'd be me, I would
uh,
say.
yeah, your sound is pretty cool. You have a good vibe going on.
Thanks, man.
So I got a couple other things. These are all. So I got a call, actually, ironically, from Forbes magazine's PR yesterday.
Oh, sick, man.
So a lot of these questions are similar ones that I answered myself.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny that you mentioned your upbringing about how you started in a music band, because that's literally the same exact way I started in high school. I think I played. I
What high
started,
school did you go to? Where are you actually located?
right now, I actually just relocated, but so I grew up in the San Fernando Valley.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, so I went to San Fernando High School. I graduated there, and then I just needed to get out of that place, man. Just too
I live
many.
I live I live in Granada Hills. And my wife went to San Fernando High School.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Okay.
and then I went to Monroe, and yeah. So I mean, I'm still in the valley, but I'm on the other side. I'm on this side of the. I'm by like Kennedy area. Like I'm on the other side of the freeway.
I think we were close together at one point. So I moved out of Granada Hills maybe about 2 years ago. And then I worked on your brother's music stuff. And then I just moved like literally a week ago. So I just moved to
Whoa.
Colorado.
Where'd you live? Colorado. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Denver's dope, man. Denver's dope. The GTA guys. Well, one of the GTA guys lives out there. But I love going out there, man. It's dope. It's fucking. It's. How's the getting used to the elevation? Has it fucked you up?
Yeah, man. I've been getting like sinuses and all sorts of stuff. But the Husky loves it, bro. This is like his weather out here. So
Nice. It's cold as fuck right now, huh?
yeah.
Oh
But
yeah.
but yeah, man, that's cool. I could see that we have a similar upbringing. I also had a band throughout high school, and actually the way I got into DJing was one of our guitarists, he was actually a DJ on the side.
Oh shit.
So our band would open up for some of his DJ gigs. And
Big.
I'm like, bro, I got tired of people not showing up to practice and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I just like, screw this, man. I want to be a one-man band. And yeah, I pursued production. I started DJing first. I met some really cool artists. And then the big question came, hey, could we work on a song? And I just didn't know how to produce.
Yeah.
I just knew how to play music. So I'm like, I got to get into producing. But other than that, we shall hop on to these other questions. So how did you get into this industry, and how long have you been involved in the music industry?
Well, I got in the actual industry, I would say maybe I've been in it maybe 10 years. Like I got in it, like I said, I was just making music and I was just posting it on SoundCloud, man. That was like my go-to. Like I'm always gonna be loyal to SoundCloud because like that's kind of like what gave me it opened a door for me for other DJs to hear, you know what I mean? And kind of legitimize what I was doing. And yeah, so about 10 years I was producing, like I said, I was in a band. It didn't work out, people wouldn't show up, or like what started happening was like I was making all the bookings for us, like we got to get some money, we got to make shows, da da da. And then at one point, like the main guy, the lead of the band swindled all the money and he spent it.
What?
And everyone got mad. Yeah, because we would save it, like all the gig money, and we would keep it at his house, like in a safe.
Oh,
And then one day, and then we were like, hey man, let's make some merch. Like, let's use some of the money and get stickers, or like, let's get a demo. And that was like, oh man, the money's gone. Like I had to use it because he had a kid. And I've known this guy since like elementary, man. So it was kind of like a low blower, like, man. So then after that, everyone just started like doing their own thing. And I used to live in this apartment on in Panorama City. And it was a 6-bedroom apartment. And and my bedroom was like, it was huge. It was like a living room kind of thing. So I ended up buying a drum set. I already knew how to play guitar, and I knew how to play bass and keyboards. So I bought this Tascam. And then what I would do is I would record myself, like just doing everything myself, like kind of one-man band thing.
that's pretty
Or
cool.
looping stuff with like a line 6. And then I would just start doing that. I can't sing, so it would just be like instrumental stuff, and I would like do that. And then once I got a Mac, I got a computer, I downloaded Reason, and I was working on Reason for a while, and I was like, oh shit, this is pretty cool. And I figured it out. But then I got Ableton, and then I left Reason since. So it's been a long road of me just working on music. But for the most part, it's been like 10 years of making music. DJing probably maybe 8, because it took, like I said, I didn't know how to DJ. I had to buy, like when I started DJing, when there was a demand for like, not demand, but like when people started asking for me to be on like their tour and stuff like that, I didn't know how to DJ. So I was DJing off of my laptop and Ableton. Like I was just triggering stuff. You know what I mean? So like, I think when my first big show, like I opened for Excision here at Avalon. And I was using like a little Evo thing, like a little it was just a trigger thing that I was just triggering. So I wasn't really DJing. And then that's how I did it for like a year, because I didn't know how to DJ. And then
That shit's not easy to do, man. I see DJ set up with Ableton. I'm like, bro, you want to drop a track or what? He's like, no, man, I'm DJ. That is hard to me.
Man, no, like I what I did is I had loops, I had triggers, like I would have like different songs like mash up, like it was a whole thing, right? It was like a structure, like it was just a lot. And then at one point, like I was touring so much that my laptop couldn't take it anymore, and during gigs it would fucking shut off. Like it would just, and then I was like I think I played a festival one time and it shut off. I was like, and I had to like get on the mic and restart my computer and reopen it. So like I kind of played it off. But after that, I was learning how to DJ, and then I ended up buying like CDJs and stuff. And then I ended up learning it in one day. I was like, I should have learned a long time ago. But yeah, man, it's been like 10 years in the business. Once like I started talking to Diplo, he let me release stuff on Matt Decent. You know what I mean? I was able to work with him, and then I met all kinds of other people. Before Diplo, like I was working with Sazon Buya, which is now Fight Club. So I've known him for years. I've known Valentino for years. So we've been like, yeah, man, it's just been a struggle. Not struggle, sorry. It's been a long journey, but yeah, I say 10 years.
So sick, bro. So you're living a lot of people's dreams right now. You're signed to Insomniac Records. You do a lot of tours. Obviously, I follow your work online. What would you say? Have you ever had a moment where you're just like, man, where you just step away from your life and you're like, dang, I never pictured myself being here? Or when it has something triggered in your mind where you're like, I got to the point I want to be at, you know? Like,
man, I would say, dude, like every day, like every show that I do, I don't take for granted. Like, you know what I mean? Like I sit there, there's times where like I'm DJing, and if you see me DJ, like I'll just stare out and I'm like, this is fucking crazy. Like that I get to do this for a living. You know what I mean? I was able to buy my house because of DJing, you know what I mean? Yeah. So so it's crazy. Like that I was able to buy my house. I was able to buy cars, like because I DJ, you know what I mean? So it's every day, it's like surreal. I think when I played Ultra, like the first time, I think I was just like, damn, I think that was like on the top of my list. I was like, because I used to go to just the WMCs, like the Miami Music Week, and do random parties, but I never got invited to play Ultra. But when I got to play Ultra, like I got the pictures, and they didn't even spell my name right in the like on the thing. Instead of because like etc is etc, but they put ECT, and I was like, man, what the fuck? Oh, whatever, I got to play it. It was cool.
It's always the visuals guys, bro. They're just like, just put whatever up.
Yeah, I think at that point, because I hadn't played like a lot of big stages before. It was just mostly clubs and venues. I
Yeah.
didn't have visuals then. So they made, so now like I have my own visuals like that just loop and it plays my stuff. So it's like, yeah, now it's like profesh, you know. But
Man, my last show was with LA Riots and Drew. I don't know if you ever heard of Drew. He's not really signed a whole lot. Roland Clark is a legend in the whole house game.
yeah,
That was my last gig, but
where at? I know Daniel, from LA, right? He's
yeah,
cool stuff.
so we played a venue. Where was it? It was some theater out in LA. I think it was. Sheesh, I completely forgot, man. I got short-term memory loss.
Oh, it's all good.
It was about maybe 2 or 3 months ago,
Oh,
and man,
sick. How
yeah,
was that? Was it good?
it was cool. It was cool and everything, but yeah, I definitely had that moment. Like I've never heard any of their music, not to like shame them or anything or any
Yeah,
work, but you know, I could see they're pretty cool guys and stuff. I
yeah,
think it was out in Bali or something.
yeah. He was. I think he was there for like during the whole pandemic or something. It's
Yeah.
crazy, yeah.
Yeah, he was a cool guy. We were backstage just chopping it up. I think I was pretty much gone at that point. He was like,
What's
he's like,
funny
"What
is like
do you,
you
man?"
get so like you're that's happened to me too, where I'm like DJ, I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Like I never thought I'd be here. Like when like the first time I went to Europe or like the first time I went overseas, crazy. I never thought I'd be here. And then like 10 seconds later, you're all smashed and you're like,
Yeah. Definitely want to give a shout out to Groovism Events. He's the one who booked me.
oh, sick.
He supports my content, and he's the one that reached out to me. And it was a good show. It really was. He had EDM tunes pull up and record the whole set. I still haven't seen it, but I'm the type of guy that never put anything up. Even like
Yeah.
if you were to get a high school diploma, I would just stick it in a drawer or something.
Yeah, me too. I have mine somewhere.
But yeah, man, your music's sick. I like.
Thanks, man.
I was gonna ask you this question, but obviously we both know the answer to this. What separates you from other artists?
I don't know, man. I would say like it's just uh maybe because I could put Latin spin on stuff. I don't know. I I've tried to like my whole career or the whole time I've been making music, I've tried to make a little bit of everything. So I've made dubstep. I actually have a dubstep tune coming out this week. It's coming out on Insomniac. I think it's this week. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, let's go.
So it's like a dubstep tune. But yeah, I've tried to make dubstep. Like I make house, I make moombahton. I actually have a house tune too coming out on Spinning. So I have a little bit of everything. So I think what separates me would be maybe I just have a little bit of everything to bring to the table, I would say. You know what I mean?
Did you listen to all these genres like heavily before you started producing them, or you're just kind of like, I gotta make I respect that type of genre?
No. What happened was like I didn't even like moombahton when it first came out. Like I got hooked. Like it was just like it had a dope swing and made me like be happy. But no, man, it's whatever I'm feeling at the moment is what I make. Like I don't sit here and be like, okay, I'm gonna make a moombahton track right now. It's just like I start working on something and however it flows, it flows. You know what I mean? Yeah.
If you had tips to give upcoming artists on our channel, what would they be? If you had tips, like life tips. It doesn't have to be music related. It could just be any tips from your
Just
perspective.
well, music wise, just be patient, man. Like things take time. Like it's not like my first song, I think it was a trap song that hit, was Swoop. And it took like a year for it to catch on, you know what I mean? Everyone was playing it, but like, you know, it didn't pop until after a year. So you gotta be patient. Um, Obviously, quality over quantity, like, you know, have something dope come out, then just be packing on tunes just to put tunes out. Um, don't be mad when someone gives you feedback in your song. They're just trying to, you know, they're giving you their perspective. So like if they're like, you know, if you ask for like, what do you think of this? And they tell you what they think, don't be mad. Like you asked, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Eventually you're gonna end up doing it your way, but it's always good to have another ear. And then, yeah, man, just be friendly, go out and meet people. That's the best thing I would say. Like be social. A lot of the time, like what I did in the beginning when I started making music was like, yeah, I would send music to like AC Slater, Diplo and stuff like that. But then I would go out and I would make sure they knew who I was. Like, hey man, I'm Jose, like I'm etc. I send you the song. So then that's why it's important for, I think, for the DJ to know who you are. So that's way when they're playing your song, they're like, oh, it's that fool. Like, that was cool. You know what I mean? Like, they're more likely to play your song, I think, if they know, they put a face to what it is. Because we get music all the time, you know what I mean? So if you're being more approachable, and it's gonna be more likely that people play your music. So yeah, man, be social. Don't be afraid to go out. Don't be afraid to say what's up to, like, you know, somebody else, or like reach out. And don't, you know, and like I said, be patient, because sometimes a song could pop in a day. It could take you 2 years to get where you want to go. But like, don't get frustrated because it's not going your way. Just, you know, it'll let it happen organically, I would say. Yeah, man. But,
So you're saying more of, like, I've noticed people or other DJs, a huge mistake is they normally just ask for what they want right off the bat rather than getting to know the person, supporting their content, going out to their shows. You know, they're hitting up the booking agents and being like, oh, hey, can you book me?
yeah.
Like showing love on their platform or coming out to any of their events or something like that, right?
Yeah, man. I think it's always good to be friendly and like be friends with someone. You're more than likely to be to either like them play your song because you've become social with them. And you know, like I said, with the booking agent too, has to be like, I didn't reach out to people. Like, my agent found me, you know what I mean? Like, he heard my songs and he was like, fuck, can I sign you? And I was like, yeah. Then I found a manager. Well, a manager found me. So I let everyone's different, but I get questions all the time where people are like, man, how do I find a manager? How do I get booked? Like, I send people my stuff, they don't book me. And it's like, bro, like, you gotta be patient. Like, let it come naturally to you. Like, if you're forcing it, the more you force something, I feel that the more you force something, the more mad you're gonna get when you don't get it. You know what I mean? So it's like, if it happens organically and naturally, then it's gonna feel good, man. You know what I mean? And when it does, it's because they believe in what you're doing, right? Like, you know what I mean? So, because if you find a manager and he's like, oh, I'll manage you, then he didn't come out, you know what I mean, and believe in what he saw. He's just like, yo, maybe let me sign this guy, see what happened. You know what I mean? You always want to have people that come to you because they believe in what you're doing and in your brand and your music, you know what I mean, and your authenticity.
Sure, man. Do you feel like you lost a lot of friends with fame? Do you feel like your friends that they didn't talk to you as much started talking to you more? Did you see people disappear out of your life as soon as you hit your pinnacle of success?
Nah, man. I talk to everyone in my circle from high school. My best friend, my literally best friend, is still my best friend from high school. Like, his kids and my kids play together. They come out. Like, you know, I still talk to my whole family. Well, maybe my brother, not that much, but I'm joking. But no, man. I keep
this, man.
I'm joking. No, I keep in touch with everyone, man. You know what I mean? People reach out, and people hit me up. They're like, hey, can I get tickets? I'm like, yeah, for sure. Like, no one, like, you know, if someone didn't talk to me and I didn't notice, or somebody stopped talking to me and I didn't notice, and they probably weren't even there in the first place. Everyone who's been important to me is still around me, and everyone that every friend that I've made along the way is still there. So I make no enemies.
Do you have any artists that you haven't checked off that you would like to work with now that you've kind of gotten to the point where, you know, obviously you're successful in the music industry. You play your big shows. You've had multiple releases. You've played with other big artists. You yourself are a big artist, but do you see yourself like, is there any artists that you have worked, that you want to work with, that you haven't worked with yet?
Yeah, man. Like, there's artists that I want to work with that are not in like our scene, bands, or like, you know, singers, you know, like, not necessarily rappers, but like just people outside like the EDM circle. Like, I love to work with, like, maybe Pharrell, everyone would, you know what I mean? I want to pick at his brain, see what he knows. You know, people like that I grew up listening to. I would say that's, like, for me, that would be legendary, you know? Like, even like crossover Spanish, like if I worked like with like fucking Tucanes or something like that, or like a banda, you know what I mean? Or like a Mexican pop artist, or somebody, you know, just somebody outside the scene. Because I think in our scene, I work with pretty much everyone I've wanted to work with. I'm still working with people, you know what I mean? Like, I like collabing with people. I love it. It makes it easier, and I always get you know, get to pick at their brain and vice versa. Just where I could sit in the studio. I feel like that's where I'm at best, you know what I mean? Like just sitting and making music. I think that's where I'm at my element. Like if they were like, hey man, if you pick DJing over working on music, I would probably if I got paid the same as I did to DJing as working on music, then I would just work on music. I would just sit there and just work, man, because that's where I'm in my element, you know.
So you do better in performance wise. That always puts more food on the table as to.
Well, yeah, I mean, perform like producing is like I haven't gotten the chance to produce for someone like super big, you know what I mean? But um records don't make that much, you know. You get like a cent per play or whatever it is, you know what I mean, or however much it is. You don't really get that much. It's either merch makes you the most you know, where you earn the most, or shows. But unless like you're making content like YouTube stuff, then you can have, or like podcasts and stuff. But like I said, I feel like I just want to make music and I just want to produce, man. It's not like back in the day where like Pharrell was making beats for like Snoop Dogg and he was charging them like 100K for a beat. You know what I mean? Like an artist is gonna pay. They're gonna go to SoundCloud and buy a beat off someone for $100, or you could go on Fiverr and get a beat off for someone for like 200. You know what I mean? So it's not really where the pay's at. But if I could make good money just sitting down and making music, then I would 100%.
I think it's more for the credibility, like, oh, I got this amount of plays, or Spotify recognized me, or
Yeah.
That's awesome though, man. Yeah, most definitely. So I got one last question for you. I know you're a busy guy. So the last question is, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? In this whole
Next 5 years, man. So I was talking to my wife about this because I don't see myself DJing. Like either if I could sit down and be producing, I would love to do that. Unless like I get a hit, like 2 hits that like pop off hard, and I could tour off for like I could tour for the next 5 years for that, then I will be still touring, you know. But just making music. I was thinking about either becoming a manager, because I know so many people, maybe like becoming someone's manager, and you know, maybe that would be the next step.
That'd be sick, man. That's
Yeah,
smart.
I would say become a manager and maybe helping someone see their vision and get to their vision. I think that would be satisfying too. It would be easier because I wouldn't have to travel. I wouldn't have to do any of that stuff. You know, I like being at home. I like being at home with my kids. I like working on music. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a home guy. Like, I don't even go to family parties, dude. I just like staying at home. I'm like, hey, we got a party this week, and I'm like, ah, man, I got something to do. And then like later I'm posting on Instagram, like watching TV or something.
Consider doing something. Like, I've noticed a very popular thing right now that artists are doing is rather than just making music, but documentaries they upload onto Netflix, Amazon.
Oh yeah.
I think
I don't know if I would be. My life's not that interesting, man. I don't think I would do that for myself. But man, or maybe if I could sit down and make music for movies or TV shows, that could be cool too. You know what I mean? Like scoring something, that could be sick. That could actually like become an actual thing. Like that's something too that I've always wanted to do, like scores, like, you know, symphonies and stuff like that would be kind of cool.
That'd be sick, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah. It's just different things, like either become a manager, make music for movies, or write it out till I can't write it out. Be like Carl Cox, bro. DJ when I'm like
British Eagle, that dude.
Yeah, you know, that's what I was thinking in my head too. That was still DJing, bro.
I met that guy.
Cool. Yeah, he's cool. He's cool. I like that guy. He's cool. I've met him a few times. I've done his radio show too. He's cool.
Oh, really? What? Okay.
Yeah, when he does Power Tools.
I respect about your music. It's like it's so anyone could listen to it, because that's the biggest separation in music. I think was I had people that were heavily into hip hop. Then you have the reggaeton scene, and then you have the outsiders, which is the electronic world. But I feel like your music is compatible for most scenarios. You know, like you do.
Well, that's what I try to strive for, man. I like try to make it like for it to work for everyone, because to be honest, like I don't want to be pigeonholed like into something. Like I don't want to be like, for example, like I don't want a festival to be like, oh, we're not gonna book him because he only plays dubstep. You know what I mean? Like I want to be able to like, and like my sets too, my sets vary. Like my sets are all different types of music too. It's not like I just play one type of, I don't play moombahton for an hour, you know what I mean? Like I'll mix it in, and like it's a little bit of everything. And I feel like that's what a producer should be able to do, like be able to make all kinds of music and that fit under the umbrella of what their brand is, you know what I mean? That way you don't get pigeonholed into stuff. And yeah, like I like to make a little bit of everything. And yeah.
Most definitely. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I talked to one of my mentors, and that was one of the first things he told me. He's like, "Why would you put yourself in a box like that?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Yeah, because a lot of times genres sometimes become some type of a trend. You know,
Yeah, of course.
change, people's tastes change. I'm pretty sure you remember when the electro house scene was really big. Even hip
Yeah,
hop artists were jumping on it.
yeah.
Dirty Dutch, and then it just kind of like faded away a little bit. But
Yeah. Well, it's a little, yeah, I mean, people still do that now too. You know what I mean? People jump on the trend. You know what I mean? That's just,
yeah,
yeah.
that's what I've noticed. That's the critique I've been getting a lot for. Just like you mentioned, I won't get booked because they're like, well, this is only for hardcore electronic music, or again, it's a dubstep show, or we only want to hear hardstyle.
Yeah.
Like I like hardstyle. I produced a couple hardstyle tracks, but I mean, yeah, most definitely. I think that's what I liked about your sets, where you just, it seems like it was more of like a timeline of all of the music you're into. So you have a
Yeah.
little bit of hip hop, you threw in some Spanish, you got the mumbo tone, some trap in there. I could see all sorts of genres being
Yeah,
collabed.
man. It's like I said, it's whatever I'm feeling at the moment. Like if like I could be working on, like I'm working on a track right now, and it's like it was started as like a house tune, and now it's like a moombahton track. So it's just like however I feel like the tune should go is what I do. So it's just a little bit of everything, giving my own little flavor, a little twist.
Isn't it ironic that we're doing this EDC weekend?
Yeah.
Dude, as soon as I went to EDC, I'm like, I'm not gonna go. My thing was, I said I'm not gonna come to EDC anymore until I'm actually performing here. My last
You know.
EDC show is like, I don't want to come here. I want to be on the stage, not in
Yeah.
the crowd.
Well,
But
you know, I didn't. I got invited to go, but I was like, nah, I don't want to go. Like, I wait next year because I think I might be playing next year. I'm not sure, but it's just I couldn't play this year because it's all rollover people from pre-pandemic that were gonna play. So it's the same. It just got moved over to now. So like nobody new got added unless it was like a side carts or whatever it was. But for the most part, it's the same lineup they announced before it got shut down like 2 years ago when the pandemic or whatever it was. So
oh yeah, they had to return a bunch of.
yeah, all the artists, like all the festivals this year that happened are all the people that was gonna play it before the pandemic happened, before it got shut down. So I guess everyone was promised a spot, so they're still playing, you know, kind of what I mean. So now I just gotta wait until next year to write it out.
Are you open to other people collaborating with you? Not.
Always, yeah, man. Always, as long as your music's dope and I dig it, I'm super down. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got some keep aways. I'm interested in showing you, but another thing too, I've noticed that the bigger you become, more people want to like dive into your world and help you out. Like visual guys want to come out and start giving
Yeah.
visuals and stuff. But are you open to that as well? I just
Of
talked to,
course.
do you know Hardwell?
Yeah.
Laid
No,
back.
I met him a couple times, but I don't know him like personally.
So I reached out to Hardwell and who else? I think it was Laid Back Luke. Not him personally, but it was a designer that created his last music video. And that
Yeah.
shit's trippy, man. It's all like 3D modeled like figures walking across the most tree you can think of. Yeah, I reached out to her to see, oh, I want to work with you, if you can make me a music video and everything. But I'm just like, wow, man. I was just blown away. Like, I think that's where the future is heading is 3D modeling and adding your music to NFTs and shit like that.
Yeah, that's crazy. I haven't really gotten into that. I don't understand that world, man. So I don't even know. I don't even go into that. Yeah. I'm not even like that's like not even my jazz, man. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
So
I'm good.
pretty much NFTs is non-fungible token. So
Yeah, yeah,
basically
yeah.
the
No,
whole
I mean I know what it is. Like my friends are all into it. Like all the DJs are into it. But like I'm just like that's just beyond me, man. Like that's just Like I'm not even like, you know what I mean? Like, but I know that I know it's awesome, and it's like a great way to like the people that own rights and like, you know what I mean? Like they'll own like a part of your music, blah blah blah. But it's just I don't understand, man. I don't know. But
It's
yeah, it is going into that 100%, and into like you know like fucking Bitcoin and all that stuff. It's just I'm the old school guy, man.
right on, right
Like
on.
I'm
I
pretty
respect that.
yeah.
I'm very into tech stuff and things like that. But the ideas behind it is, you know how people like rich people, they'll spend like thousands of dollars on a one of a kind painting, right?
Yeah.
So the idea is it's basically just a flex, like, oh, I just bought this painting, it's digital. But the reason why they're creating these, let's picture that like painting right behind you, right?
Yeah.
What if you can just buy a digital canvas where you can load up any of your artwork? Instead of
Oh,
you showing off like a physical painting, now it's like a digital one.
yeah. I'd rather own the fucking the real thing, man.
But they're doing so much stuff with it, bro.
I think we're gonna release one, Dirty Audio and I, for one of our tracks. Monster Cat reached down, they're like, we want to make it into an NFT, like a few NFTs. And I was like, all right, we'll see.
Dude,
So in my,
that's smart. That is a good move because you get paid every time someone sells. Let's say you do your album cover, right? Plus your
yeah,
music. That's your NFT.
yeah,
When you sell it, now every single time that person sells your artwork, you're
yeah.
gonna get a back end royalty, and you control the percentage. So it's sick, man. It's
Oh,
so
wow.
sick. It's pretty sick. I think I like where the music game's heading. It's a great time to be an artist. I think most definitely.
Yeah, man, 100%.
But yeah, man, that's pretty much it for our interview. If you have any questions for me at all or anything you
Nah, man, I'm good.
boy, etc., with Insomniac Records. He has a new tune coming out shortly. I'll also be putting a link down below for his merch if you guys want to tap into that. I got to get myself one of those hoodies, man. They're so sick.
They look dope, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, they came out pretty cool. I was happy.
Alrighty. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you, man.
Likewise, brother. Thanks for having me.
I'm gonna keep rocking to your music.
Hey, thanks, man, for sure.
Take it easy, bro.
You too, brother.